What's going on, Jeromes? Beautiful Tuesday. We got some Q's, we got some A's. Thank you, everyone who submitted questions. First up, Road Warrior. Is Pace better than Prime, Barr, or Kendricks? And could you see Harrison Smith becoming an assistant Vikings coach after retiring? So, don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. Right, and Pace Jr. only has 1 year under his belt. It was a phenomenal year. Frankly, one of the best UDFA linebacker years. Actually, one of the best off-ball rookie linebacker years in NFL history. Like Ivan Pace Jr. That's not even hyperbole. Legit. He's legit a star already on this team. And in year two, he's only going to grow and show. And I think that he will ascend into a Pro Bowl talent. Now, with Kendricks and Barr, Kendricks and Barr, like people forget, like they were really, really good, and they were fantastic. They were the straw that stirred the drink in the Zimmer Hellfire defense. And Anthony Barr should have been playing edge rusher his entire time, but he was a very solid, strong side linebacker in the Zimmer defense in a very specific role. Four-time Pro Bowler. Eric Kendricks, I think, was one of the most underrated off-ball linebackers in the game. Playing from that weak side, just a coverage machine, a tackling machine, and for my money, like I do think that Kendricks should be remembered in the Bobby Wagner sort of strata, except he just doesn't get that level of respect. I think that he certainly deserves it, though. So Pace has some work to do. For me, like Kendricks and Barr are up there with like Chad Greenway in terms of Vikings great linebackers, up there with Studwell, Matt Blair, etc. So, I mean, Pace certainly is on pace to do so. But give Pace 3, 4, 5 years and watch him rack up and stack up a couple of Pro Bowls, maybe even All Pro, and then we'll have that conversation. But as right now, like not quite. But time will certainly tell. Oh, and Harrison, I don't know. Like Harrison obviously has a ton of knowledge, and behind the scenes, he's known as a guy who he's not really one that will address a room. Like he's a pretty quiet, reserved guy, but one-on-one, he will drop knowledge and information. I don't know. Like Harrison has so many varied interests outside of the game. Like maybe not. Well, I could see Harrison getting into something weird, like getting into scouting, becoming a GM, like going down the Jumpin' John Lynch route, maybe. But in terms of who, all right. So if I had the ability to wager on any current Vikings player to become a future college or NFL head coach, I would bet on Josh Metellus. 100%. Bajillion%. 9 million%. Next. Bryce and Kent. Do coaches only value skill, availability, and technique when doing rooster cuts, or does more go into like personal relationships, for example? So, the easy cop-out answer for it is yes. There's a whole lot of things that go into it, but overall, it's like, can you help the team? Can you help the team win? And then other factors like age, projection, this year, next year, and the future, as well as attitude. I mean, that does factor in because, talent will get you so far and get you a lot more chances and a lot more leeway. But at the end of the day, if you're a detriment to the culture of the team or the emotional makeup of the team, yeah, you're probably going to be gone unless you're an amazing talent. Availability in terms of like injury or not being arrested, I don't know. Like it certainly factors in, as well as technique. Listening to coaches, getting along with coaches, being able to take coaching and criticism, how you get along with your teammates, that all matters. And then you get into your draft position. I mean, it's really rough to give up on a first or second round pick after two years, but that's where we are with Lewis Cine and Andrew Booth Jr. But also, contracts is a factor in as well. Plus, I mean, it's a bit of a dirty business, but the business is the business. A lot of times, there you will find a veteran player who's on a non-guaranteed contract, and it comes down to roster cuts, and they could be threatened with take a pay cut or get the cut. And that happens a lot. And the Vikings have done it. Kwesi's done it a couple times. And Spielman was famous for it. But, yeah, business is business, like I said. So, tons of factors go into it. And, coaches, ultimately the decision is Kwesi's, but coaches obviously have a ton of input as well. Next, Yonder Sphinx. How well do you believe Sam Darnold will be? How good do you believe Sam Darnold will be? Do you think he'll be in all season, or do you think he'll be switched out at any point? And will J.J. McCarthy play at all this season? I think McCarthy will play, but it'll be in garbage time when the Vikings are up 20, 30 points late in the game. I think Sam Darnold's going to be great. With Jefferson, Addison, eventually Hawkinson, a decent offensive line, solid play caller, and Kevin O'Connell, a running game which is going to get after it. I honestly think that Sam Darnold is going to get his confidence back, going to get his groove back. He's going to look like redshirt freshman Sam Darnold back at USC back in the day, 2016 era. I think he's going to do great. And I think he's going to operate the offense with aplomb. I think that he's going to give the Vikings a tough decision next offseason. Do they franchise tag Darnold? Do they tag and trade him? Do they extend him? What happens with McCarthy? And it's a good problem to have because I think that Darnold, he's still young, can still grow and show into the potential that he has. And I think he's going to be really good. I think he's going to shock a lot of people, including a lot of Vikings fans, by the way. Next, user. What do you think? What would you do for the Vikings to win a Super Bowl? For me, I would become a Packers fan. So, I don't know. Would it be kind of boring if you could just trade something of value for the Vikings to win a Super Bowl? Because you definitely want it to happen organically, right? Well, obviously, if you know the Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl, you could, go Back to the Future Gray Sports Almanac on the bit and wager a couple of jelly beans. But I don't know. I feel like, so they say the second best part of gambling is gambling and losing. Number one is obviously gambling and winning, because I feel like we as humans, we enjoy the uncertainty. That's why we get mad when it's perceived that sports games could be fixed or could be predetermined, right? Things are following the script. But that's something that's great, because if there's uncertainty, that means that there's hope. If there's uncertainty, that means that you could win. Now, if you take that away and you're certainly going to win, I mean, it's nice, but you're not going to have that journey. Right, but what would I give up? I don't know. I would never attend a sporting. No, that's a little bit too far. I would never watch baseball again. Huge sacrifice. I would never play fantasy football again. Or actually, no, I would never wager on sports again. I would never wager on I would never wager on National Football League games again. After this one season of, I know that the Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl. Notice I still left the door open for UFL, college football, all that stuff. Yeah. Next, Drippy Sports. Do you have faith in our cornerback room as it is right now? Yes. Where I know there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of unknowns, but I think stylistically, specifically what Flores wants to do this year, play a lot more press man on the outside as well as have Murphy more in the slot. I think it's set up really well. So Shaq Griffin, I think, has a chance for a career renaissance year on the outside, playing left cornerback, doing what he does well, pressing that man at the line of scrimmage and just getting after it. And the other cornerback spot, Blackman, I love in year 2, the pride of USC again. Caleb Evans, the talent is there, just hasn't been able to be consistently putting it together. I think Kyrie Jackson's, again, specific. I've definitely warmed up to Kyrie Jackson. I said my piece at the start of day 3, had some concerns about the intangibles, but he's been great. He's been fantastic so far. He's proven that he's loving the game, and also skill set wise, he's not a burner. He's not the quickest guy in the world, but if he gets his mitts on you at the line of scrimmage, it's over. He's going to lock you down, and that's stylistically what they want to do this year. And Dwight McLaughlin, I think, has a chance to be really, really good. Jalen Williams in the slot is great. Booth Jr., I think they're going to give up on, but rightfully so. So, again, there's a lot of question marks, but I think the Vikings' cornerback room is really solid and also really deep. Plus, if the Vikings are much more efficient this year rushing the passer, so they don't have to blitz as much, that means that the corners aren't going to be left to their own devices as often. I think they have a chance to be really, really good. But that's it. Q&A for this beautiful Tuesday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull, production value.